If this message found you tonight, it was not an accident. It was not the algorithm. It was not a random scroll that landed you here in the quiet hours when the house has finally gone still and the noise of the day has worn itself out. You were led here. Something in you that is tired of striving and tired of bracing for bad news reached out into the dark, and this is the answer that came back. So before you do anything else, I want you to know that you are exactly where you were meant to be in this moment, and there is nothing you need to fix in the next 50 minutes except the way you have been carrying the weight, because here is what you have not been told. The thing you have been begging God for is closer than you think. It has been moving toward you for longer than you have known to ask for it. And the reason it has not arrived yet is not that you are unworthy, not that God forgot, not that the door is locked. The reason is simpler and stranger than that. You have been standing in the doorway with your arms so full of worry that there has been no room to receive it. There is a force that works in the quiet beneath your fear, beneath your effort, beneath the long nights of wondering whether anything is happening at all. It does not announce itself. It does not wait for your permission. It rearranges your life while you sleep and reorders your steps while you complain. I call it the sunrise hour, the hidden work that finishes in the dark just before the light, so that when the morning comes, what was being prepared all along is suddenly, finally there. And here is what you need to carry into everything that follows. The night is not punishment. The night is preparation. The waiting is not denial. The waiting is the construction. You do not receive what you chase. You receive what you make room for. The breakthrough was never late. You were simply early and you were still being made ready. But hear the warning too, because I care more about your life than about your comfort. The person who does not understand the sunrise hour will fight the very thing that is preparing them. They will panic in the dark that was meant to grow them. They will fill the silence with frantic noise. They will pound on the door so hard that they never hear it click open. And they will exhaust themselves chasing what was already on its way, repelling with anxious hands the very blessing they pray for with their own mouth. So let me ask you something, and do not rush to answer it. What if the long night you have been enduring is not the absence of God, but the evidence of His work? What if the very stillness you have been resisting is the exact condition your breakthrough has been waiting for? Sit with that, because by the time the sun comes up on this message, you will know the answer, and you will never look at your waiting the same way again. Let us begin where most people refuse to look, not at the blessing, but at the darkness that comes before it. There is a pattern written across the whole of Scripture, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The most important things never arrive in the noise. They arrive in the quiet, in the dark, in the hour when no one is watching and nothing seems to be happening at all. The seed does its deepest work underground. The child is formed in the hidden place. The dawn is being assembled while the world is still asleep and certain that the night will never end. The book of Psalms says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Read that slowly because the order matters. The night comes first. The weeping is real. The scripture does not pretend the dark is easy or that the tears are imaginary, but it tells you the night has a boundary. It tells you the morning is not a maybe. Joy comes in the morning, not because you forced the sun to rise, but because the night, however long, finally ends and hands you over to the light it was carrying toward you the entire time. Most people misread the night completely. They think the darkness means abandonment. They think the silence means God has gone quiet. They think the delay means the answer is no. And in that misreading, they make the one mistake that costs them everything. They give up in the dark. 1 hour before the dawn they could not yet see. Napoleon Hill spent 20 years studying the most successful people who ever lived, and he arrived at a conclusion that sounds almost like scripture. He said that every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Read that again. The seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Hill was not a preacher, he was a researcher. And after 2 decades of studying triumph, he found that the people who achieved the most were not the people who suffered the least. They were the people who learned to look inside their hardest seasons for the gift that was always planted there, waiting in the dark to be found. This is the first thing you must understand about the sunrise hour. The darkness you are in is not the end of your story. It is the soil of it. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And there is an enormous difference between the two, though to the seed in the ground they feel exactly the same. Think about the seed for a moment, because the seed will teach you everything. The seed in the soil feels surrounded by darkness. It feels pressure on every side. It feels as if everything it once knew has ended, and nothing new will ever come. But the seed does not understand that the darkness is the womb of its becoming. The very place that feels like the grave is the place where the life is being formed. And if the seed could panic, if the seed could claw its way back to the surface to check whether anything was happening, it would kill the very thing it was trying to protect. That is what anxiety does. Anxiety is the panicked seed clawing at the soil. You pray a powerful prayer, and then 10 minutes later, your fear digs it up to see if it is growing yet. You speak a word of faith, and then your worry uproots it to inspect the roots. And nothing can grow in ground that is constantly being torn open by frightened hands. But the soul that has learned the sunrise hour plants the seed, covers it, trusts it, and rests. And the seed, hidden in the quiet, does what seeds do. It grows in the dark where you cannot see it, and it breaks the surface only when it is ready. So if you are in a season that feels like night, I need you to consider a possibility that may at first feel impossible. What if the darkness is not against you? What if the very thing that feels like the death of your dream is actually the formation of it? What if the morning is already on its way, and the only thing left to do is to stop digging and trust the soil? Let me show you something in the life of a man who lived almost his entire story in the dark before he ever saw his morning. His name was Joseph. As a young man, he was given a dream of greatness, a vision so large it made his own family uncomfortable. And what happened the moment after the dream was given? He was thrown into a pit. He was sold into slavery. He was carried into a foreign land where no one knew his name. He was lied about, falsely accused, and locked in a prison cell. Year after year passed in the dark. From the outside, it looked like the dream had died. It looked like God had forgotten. It looked like every door had been slammed shut and bolted from the other side. But here is what no one could see. The pit was a passage. The slavery was a school. The prison was a preparation. Every betrayal was building the man who would one day stand second only to Pharaoh and save an entire nation from famine. The scripture tells us that the Lord was with Joseph, even in the prison, especially in the prison. The same God who gave the dream was with him in the place that looked like the death of the dream. The night was long, but the night was never empty. In the dark, the dreamer was being made into a deliverer. And here is what that means for you. When your morning finally arrives, it will not find you the same person who entered the night. The waiting did not steal your time. The waiting was building the version of you who could actually hold what is coming. Because a loving God will not hand a child a weight that would crush them. The night is not the withholding. The night is the strengthening. Now I want to speak to the part of you that has grown tired of the dark, the part that is honestly exhausted, that has prayed the same prayer so many times the words have worn smooth, that is tempted to believe the morning belongs to other people and the night belongs to you. I want to speak directly to that part of you, because I know it is listening, and I do not want it to miss this. Your long night may be the very evidence that what God is preparing for you is larger than you have dared to imagine. He is not building a shed. He is building something that will stand for the rest of your life. And the things that are built to last are not thrown up overnight. The mushroom appears in a single dark night after one rain, quick and fragile, gone by the afternoon. But the oak takes years, sending its roots down slowly, season after season, building the strength to hold the weight of storms and to shelter generations beneath its branches. If God is taking his time with you, it is because he is not growing a mushroom. He is growing an oak, and the slowness you have been resenting is the durability being built into you. So let me ask you to do something right now, wherever you are. Think of one thing you have been waiting on, one prayer that feels unanswered, one door that has stayed closed so long you have almost stopped knocking, and instead of asking God why the night has lasted so long, whisper a different word over it. Say, I trust that my morning is being prepared. Say it, even if you do not fully feel it yet. Because faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is the decision to trust the goodness of God in the middle of the doubt. And if this is reaching something real in you, if you can feel the truth of it landing somewhere that has been hurting, do something simple. Go to the comments and write the word still. Just that one word. Not for me, not for the algorithm, for your own soul. Because there is power in declaring with your own hand what you are choosing to believe with your own heart. The act of writing it down sends a signal to the deeper part of your mind and to the God who is listening that tonight you are choosing trust over fear. Write it and then come back, because what comes next is the part almost everyone gets wrong. Here is the mistake. Most people believe that to make the morning come faster, they must push harder. They believe that if they just strain enough, worry enough, grip tightly enough, they can force the sunrise. But you cannot force a sunrise. You have never once in your life made the sun come up by wanting it more. The sun rises on its own appointed schedule, faithfully, whether you are anxious or calm, whether you are awake or asleep. And the only thing your striving accomplishes is to exhaust you before the morning you were guaranteed all along. This is where ancient faith and the real science of the mind meet, and I want you to understand the mechanism, because this is not only inspiration, it is instruction. When you live in fear, your body floods with the chemistry of survival. Your heart races, your breathing turns shallow, and blood moves away from the thinking part of your brain toward your arms and legs, preparing you to fight or to flee. In that state, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for vision and patience and wise long-term decisions, goes quiet. It is starved of resources. This is real. This is not a metaphor. It is why when you are anxious, you genuinely cannot see solutions that would be obvious to a calm person. Fear narrows your perception into a tunnel, and a tunnel only shows you the threat. It hides every door, every option, every gift standing just outside the narrow beam of your panic. But when you grow still, everything reverses. When your breathing slows and your body receives the signal that you are safe, the survival chemistry recedes, and the higher mind comes back online. Blood and energy return to the part of you that thinks and imagines and connects. The same problem that looked impossible an hour ago suddenly reveals 3 solutions. Nothing on the outside changed. Your biology changed, and your biology changed your perception. And your perception is the only world you have ever actually lived in. This is the hidden mechanism beneath the verse that says, "Be still and know that I am God." Notice the order of the words. It does not say strive and know. It does not say worry and know. It does not say force the morning and know. It says be still and then know. The stillness comes first. The knowing comes second. Because you cannot truly know that God is in control while your soul is sprinting in every direction at once. Napoleon Hill discovered the same truth from a different window. He said that no person can think clearly while their mind is dominated by fear, and that the mastery of fear is the first true requirement of all lasting achievement. He found that the great achievers were not the most frantic people he studied. They were the most composed. He said that the subconscious mind responds far more readily to thoughts charged with calm faith than to thoughts charged with fear. A mind in chaos cannot plant anything because the soil is moving too fast. But a calm mind is settled soil, and into settled soil you can finally plant a seed that will actually grow. So understand what this means for your sunrise. Your calm is not a delay on the way to your blessing. Your calm is the very condition your blessing has been waiting for. The peace you keep postponing until your situation improves is the exact peace that will improve your situation. You have had the order backwards your whole life. Calm first. Then the morning follows. There is a scene the world has never stopped retelling, because everyone in some season finds themselves inside it. A small boat on a dark sea, a violent storm rising without warning, the wind screaming, the waves climbing higher than the boat, water pouring in over the sides. The men on that boat, many of them experienced fishermen, were certain they were about to die, and in the middle of all that terror, they found Jesus asleep in the storm. The wind did not wake him. The chaos that was destroying the courage of every other man on that boat did not disturb his rest at all. And when they shook him awake, crying out that they were perishing, he stood and spoke 3 words to the storm. Peace, be still. And the wind stopped, and the sea went flat, and there was a great calm. But here is what most people miss in that story. The calm did not begin when he spoke to the storm. The calm began inside him long before the storm ever started. He did not become peaceful because the sea went quiet. The sea went quiet because he was already at peace. He carried the stillness into the storm. He did not wait for the storm to hand it to him. And that is the entire lesson written in a single scene. You will never argue the storm into stillness. You carry the stillness in, and the storm answers the frequency you bring. You have been waiting for the wind to stop before you allow yourself to rest. You have been waiting for the bills to be paid, the diagnosis to come back clean, the phone to ring with good news before you finally permit your soul to breathe. But that is the way of the perishing, not the way of the one who slept through the storm. The peace is not the prize at the end of the night. The peace is the authority you carry into the middle of it. I want you to feel this in your own body right now, because truth that stays in the head fades by morning, but truth that enters the body becomes who you are. Wherever you are, breathe in slowly through your nose to a count of 4. Hold it gently for 4, and release it slowly, even more slowly than you took it in, to a count of 6. Do it again. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release long and slow for 6. With every exhale, you are sending a direct message to your own nervous system. The message is, I am safe. The storm is not in charge. God is holding me and I can rest. Feel your shoulders begin to lower. Feel your jaw soften. Feel the frantic edge in your chest begin to dissolve. This is you returning to the frequency the morning has been waiting for. There is another story, and it explains more clearly than any other why your stillness matters so much. The prophet Elijah was exhausted. He had run for his life, collapsed under a tree, and asked God to let him die. He was a man at the very end of himself, and God told this broken, anxious man to go and stand on the mountain because God was about to pass by. Then something happened that you need to write on your heart. A great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind came an earthquake, the ground shaking with terrible force. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, fierce and bright. But the Lord was not in the fire. And then, after all the noise, after all the violence, after all the spectacle, there came a sound. The old words call it a still small voice, a gentle whisper. And there, in the whisper, was God. Do you understand what that is telling you? God was not in the loud things. God was in the quiet thing. And here is the heartbreak of how most people live. They are so surrounded by their own internal wind, their own earthquakes of worry, their own fires of fear, that even when God whispers, they cannot hear a thing. The guidance is being given. The next step is being offered. The answer is being whispered. But it is whispered, and a whisper cannot compete with a storm. So the anxious soul stands in the noise, crying out that God is silent, when God is not silent at all. God is simply quiet, and quiet can only be heard by the quiet. So let me ask you something and let it land. How many times has God whispered to you and you missed it because you were too loud inside to hear? How many gentle nudges? How many quiet ideas? How many soft impressions to call that person, to wait one more day, to let that thing go? Did you override because they did not come with the thunder your anxious mind was waiting for? You have been listening for thunder, but heaven has been speaking in whispers. And the practice of becoming still is nothing less than the practice of finally being able to hear your own life being directed toward the morning. Sit with that for a moment. Somewhere in your recent days, God has already whispered something to you. A name came to mind. A small instruction surfaced. A quiet knowing rose up, and you talked yourself out of it because it was too quiet to trust. That whisper is still valid. It did not expire. The moment you grow calm enough to hear it again, it will return, because the gentle voice does not give up on the souls it loves. Now I want to show you why the night feels longest right before it breaks, because this is the part where most people quit, and I do not want you to be one of them. There is a strange law written into both the natural world and the spiritual one. The darkness is deepest just before the dawn. The storm rages hardest just before the shore. The labor becomes most intense in the final moments before the birth, and the resistance you feel rises highest, not when you are far from your breakthrough, but when you are close enough to touch it. This is why so many people abandon the very thing they were about to receive. They misread the intensity of the final hour as proof that nothing is there. But the increase in pressure is not a sign to stop. It is often a sign of how close you have come. No one fights this hard to stop someone who is going nowhere. The opposition is fiercest at the edge of the promise. Napoleon Hill told a story he considered the most instructive of his entire life. It was the story of a man who gave up 3 feet from gold. The man bought land, dug for gold, found a vein, and then watched it disappear. He drilled and found nothing more. Discouraged, he quit. He sold his equipment to a junk dealer for a few dollars and went home. And the junk dealer called in an engineer who calculated that the vein had simply faulted and that the gold would be found just 3 feet from where the first man stopped drilling. 3 feet. The first man walked away from a fortune that was 3 feet away because the resistance at the end convinced him there was nothing there. Hill drew a lesson from that story that he said had guided thousands of people to success. He said that when defeat overtakes a person, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. And that is exactly what the majority do. But the people who achieve great things have learned that defeat is usually temporary, and that the moment which feels most like the end is often the threshold just before the breakthrough. He found after studying countless lives that the difference between the harvest and the wasted field was frequently nothing more than the willingness to endure one more hour of the dark. So I ask you, what if the resistance you are facing right now is not a sign to stop, but a measure of how close your morning is? What if you are 3 feet from the gold? Do not measure your nearness to the sunrise by how easy the night has been. Measure it by how hard the darkness is fighting to keep you from believing the morning is coming. Because the dawn does not arrive because the night was short. The dawn arrives because the night, however long, finally ends. If something in you is refusing to quit right now, if you can feel a part of you lifting its head and daring to hope again, then take this moment and seal it. Go to the comments and write the words, "I remain." 2 words. Say it to yourself, say it to God, say it to every soul who will scroll past this and need to read exactly those words from someone who understands the long night. I remain. And while you are there, if this message is feeding your spirit, take a second to like this video and to subscribe to this channel. Not as an empty gesture, but as a quiet agreement that you are choosing to feed your mind with truth instead of the noise that has been keeping you awake. There is someone scrolling right now who is 1 hour from giving up, and your simple action helps this reach them. You become part of someone else's sunrise just by being here. Now let me take you deeper into the work God is doing in you while you wait for the work He is about to do through you. Because there is a transformation happening in the dark that is more valuable than the blessing itself. He is changing the way you see yourself. The scripture commands us to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Notice the order again. The transformation comes through the renewing of the mind, not the renewing of the bank account, not the renewing of the circumstance. The mind first. Because God knows that the size of your life will always rise to match the size of your inner picture, and He will not pour an ocean into a vessel built to hold a cup. So before He enlarges your circumstances, He enlarges you. Here is the science beneath the scripture, told the way a mentor would tell it. Your mind has 2 parts. There is the conscious mind, the part that reasons and decides and analyzes, and there is the subconscious mind, the deeper part beneath your awareness that runs your habits, your reactions, your sense of what is normal and possible for you. This deeper mind does not argue. It does not question. It simply accepts what it is told most often, especially when those words are charged with emotion, and then it works tirelessly through your nervous system to make your outer life match the inner picture it has accepted as true. This is real. This is the reticular activating system at the base of your brain, the filter that decides what you notice and what you miss. Program it with fear, and it shows you reasons to be afraid. Program it with calm expectancy, and it begins to show you the doors that fear had hidden. Napoleon Hill spent his life proving what the scripture declared thousands of years earlier. He said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But notice the two words at the center of that sentence: conceive and believe. It is not enough to want something. You must be able to conceive it, to picture it clearly, and then to believe it, to accept it as true in the depths of your being. And Hill discovered that the believing was the harder part. Most people can imagine a better life. Few can actually accept that they will have it. The gap between imagination and belief is where most dreams quietly die in the dark. This is why God renews your mind before He changes your life. He is reprogramming the deeper part of you in the night. He is replacing the image of the forgotten with the image of the chosen. He is replacing the picture of scarcity with the picture of provision. He is replacing the identity of the victim with the identity of the one who is being prepared for something good. And as that inner image changes, the outer life begins, slowly and then suddenly, to rearrange itself to match. You start making different decisions. You walk through doors you would once have feared. You say yes to things the old version of you would have refused. The change in your circumstances is simply your outer world catching up to the inner transformation that came first in the dark. So you must become an active participant in this, not a passive one. Because you can cooperate with the renewing or you can resist it. You can feed your deeper mind the truth of who God says you are, or you can keep feeding it the lies of who fear says you are. And there is one window in your day when this programming goes deepest, and almost everyone wastes it. It is the minutes just before you fall asleep. Understand what is happening as you drift towards sleep. Your brain waves slow from the busy beta of the waking day into the slower alpha and theta rhythms, the same relaxed states where suggestion takes root most easily. The conscious mind, the part that argues and doubts, steps aside, and the door to the subconscious swings wide open. Whatever you are thinking and feeling in that doorway gets carried inside, and your subconscious works on it all night long while your body rests, consolidating it into memory, weaving it into the structure of who you are becoming. This is real. The consolidation of memory during sleep is one of the most established findings in the study of the mind. And most people hand that sacred window over to the enemy of their own peace. They lie down and scroll through other people's lives. They replay the argument from earlier. They rehearse tomorrow's worst case. They feed their subconscious a final meal of fear, and then they wonder why they wake up heavy and anxious before the day has even begun. But you are not most people, not anymore. So tonight, before sleep takes you, do not reach for the phone. Reach for the breath. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 6, and let your body sink into the bed as if it is being held. Because it is. You are held by the same God who holds the oceans in place and tells the stars where to stand. You are not the one keeping the world spinning. You can let go now. Then, in that quiet, do not review the failures of the day. Instead, find 3 things to be grateful for and feel the gratitude. Do not just list it, because gratitude is the fastest road back to peace. It is impossible to be grateful and panicked in the same breath. And then speak these words softly over your own soul like a lullaby. Say, God is preparing me for something good. Say, what looks like delay is actually preparation. Say, my morning is on its way, and I will be ready when it comes. Say it until you feel it. Say it until the words stop being a hope and start becoming a knowing. This is the ancient practice the scripture calls meditating on the promise day and night, and it is the same practice Hill described when he wrote of repeating your definite aim with faith and emotion until the deeper mind accepts it as a command. Now I want to gather everything together because there is one more truth, and it is the one that resolves the question I asked you at the very beginning. I asked you, what if the long night you are enduring is not the absence of God, but the evidence of His work? You have walked through the whole of this message now. You have seen the seed in the dark soil. You have seen Joseph in the prison and Elijah on the mountain. You have seen the man who quit 3 feet from gold and the one who slept in the storm. So now you are ready for the answer. The answer is this: the night was never working against you. It was working for you. Everything you have called a problem has been the hidden hand of God preparing you for a morning larger than you allowed yourself to imagine. You are not falling apart. You are being put together. You are not being buried. You are being planted. You are not at the end of the night. You are at the threshold of the dawn. And the only thing left for you to do is to stop forcing the sunrise and start trusting the one who has never once failed to bring the morning. So put it down, the illusion of control, the heavy belief that if you do not personally worry about everything, grip everything, manage every detail, it will all fall apart. That belief feels like responsibility, but it is fear wearing the costume of responsibility, and it has filled both of your hands so completely that there is no room left to receive. There is a moment in the book of Exodus when the people of Israel were trapped, the sea in front of them and the army behind them, and in that impossible place, Moses said the words almost no anxious heart can accept. He said, "The Lord will fight for you, and you need only to be still." Their stillness was not weakness. Their stillness was the very thing that made room for God to move. And the sea opened, not because they forced it, but because they finally stopped trying to. That is the surrender the world lied to you about. It told you surrender means giving up, going limp, losing. But true surrender is not giving up. It is handing the weight to the only one strong enough to carry it, and then walking forward with open, empty, peaceful hands, ready at last to receive. You will still take the steps, you simply stop dragging the whole mountain on your back while you take them. And when you do that, you discover the promise in the book of Romans that all things work together for good for those who love God. All things, not most things, not only the easy things, all things, including the long night, including the closed door, including the season that made no sense at all. The calm soul can believe that. The anxious soul cannot, because anxiety has to understand everything before it can rest. But faith rests first and lets the understanding come later, and is at peace either way. So let the weight begin to lift off your shoulders right now. You were never meant to carry the outcome. You were only ever meant to carry the next calm step, and to trust the one who is bringing the morning. Picture it for a moment before we close. See yourself one sunrise from now, standing in the very thing you have been praying for. See yourself receiving it not with desperation but with peace, not clawing at the soil but standing in the harvest, ready, prepared, strong enough to hold what would have crushed the version of you who first entered the night. Feel the gratitude of it. Feel the wonder. Hold that picture, because that picture is a seed, and you have just planted it in the most fertile soil there is. And hear these words spoken over your life as the night begins to give way. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. The silence was never abandonment. The darkness was never destruction. The waiting was never denial. Everything that has been happening for you, not against you. The God who began this good work in you is faithful to complete it. He has not brought you this far through the night to leave you 1 hour before the dawn. What he started, he will finish. What he promised, he will fulfill in his time, in his way, with a goodness that will leave you in wonder when the morning comes. Before you go, I am asking you to do one last thing, and I ask it not for me, but for the sake of what God is doing through this message in lives all over the world tonight. If something in these words reached the place in you that needed reaching, if you felt your breathing slow and your shoulders drop, and your fear loosen its grip even a little, then make it real. Go down to the comments and write this single sentence so that your own eyes can witness your own decision. Write, "My morning is on its way, and I am ready to receive it." Write it slowly. Mean it. That sentence is a seed, and the comment section is the soil. And subscribe to this channel, not for an algorithm, but so that when your season shifts, the next word arrives right on time. Understand that this message was sent to you tonight, not suggested. This is a place built to keep your mind anchored in truth, to keep returning you again and again to the stillness where the morning is heard before it is seen. You will need this voice again on the hard nights, on the loud nights, on the nights the darkness tries to convince you it is in charge. And if there is someone you love who is awake right now, drowning in their own long night, share this with them. You may become the quiet hand that holds them through until their sunrise. And what you give away to lift another always rises back to lift you. Now close your eyes for just a moment and take one final slow breath with me. Breathe in gently and release it, long and slow, and let everything you do not need to carry leave your body with that breath. You are held. You are guided. You are not behind and you are not forgotten. What is yours is already on its way to you, and it is moving at the speed of your peace. The night is almost over. The setup is already in motion, And the thing you have been waiting for, the big one, the one you have been praying for through every dark hour, is closer than it has ever been. Hold on, it is coming, and something big arrives by sunrise.